be joy! Oh, okay. Alright. So, Waves of Darkness is insane now. Hello, my fellow Elden Ringers. Today is a day to rejoice and hearken onto praising this guy.
Hello!
Because he's finally not broken! What do I mean? Well, I'll tell you what I mean, because that's literally the entire point of making this video. With the recent patch 1.05, we have ourselves Waves of Darkness returned, or at least for the first time made into its full potential, its full glory. What am I talking about? Well, you know the Ash of War. You get it from Astel's Remembrance, and that's all nice and easy. You plunge it into the ground after putting it on a big weapon, which is the only type of weapons that can take it, and then you get 3 pulses of damage, off timing, big area. The also initial down is a hit, and it's really fantastic. It's effective, it's high damage, it's hard to avoid. It is just a wonderful Ash of War, and in my opinion, on the whole, probably the best in the game if you want a jack-of-all-trades type situation. It also has a follow-up attack that you can do, a little spinning round slash. However, this used to be pointless because, I made an entire video about it. You see what I mean? Somehow, somewhere, well, they forgot to give this attack a hitbox. Quite literally. It's not just a bit broken, it literally doesn't work, it doesn't function, it just passes through enemies and does no damage, nothing at all. Yeah, so it just didn't work. However, thanks to the most recent patch, it now does work, and it adds the delicious power cherry on top of this cake of joy. And goddamn, now I'm hungry. This has genuinely been a build I have been wanting to do since I first killed Astel all the way back, like within a week of the game releasing, but never was able to because I was stubbornly waiting until the full Ash of War worked. And the thing is, the broken version of this Ash of War was still definitively, both in PvE and PvP, one of the best, probably top 10 in both cases, Ash of Wars in the game. Now, it has been pushed over the edge. You can do about, 7 to 10,000 damage with the full combo, depending on the enemy, and that is absolutely ludicrous. It really, really is. Because, think about it, right? You get this plunge down, which, by the way, comes with a lot of hyper armor, so it's probably going to go off. That hits like a truck. You then have these 3 pulses that will happen irrelevant of what you now do, so you can continue to pressure the enemy, or, apply more further beatdown damage while this is happening, while that is contributing to stagger. Or if you want, just use the inbuilt follow-up attack, which adds an extra level of timing. This attack has 5 separate damage points, all at different timings, different ranges, and it just makes it an absolute nightmare to avoid, especially in PvP. And again, to reiterate the hyper armor, people run up to you and then they go splat. It's hilarious and I cannot get enough of it. And because it's magic damage, that lets us do a lot of our potent boosts, such as Terra Magica. Now, obviously, Terra Magica is better for ranged abilities, so you can stay stood in it, but the pulses have quite the distance, and the main advantage here, other than a plus 35% damage to the ability, at least the waves are, the physical parts have a physical split, but in any case, you get to lure people in, because you put Terra Magica down, and they're like, oh god, I'm about to be bombarded for nuclear damage. They sprint at you, and then you slam them down with the Waves of Darkness, and then they just die, and it is delicious mind games. It really, really is. And obviously, you can whack any sorceries you want in that left hand. I've just gone for the pure build here, but that's really, really neat. And again, because it's magic, it is very, very buffable. So, what weapon are we actually using here? Well, the Great Stars. The reason for that is, well, a couple reasons. It gets B in scaling, which is really nice. Not a lot of colossal big, the eligible weapons actually do that. It has a little bit of bonus bleed, which again is really nice just to have. Doesn't go off that much. The build-up isn't great in this build, but it is there, which is cool. But it also has the restore health on hit, 1% of your health back whenever you deal damage with the weapon. And Waves of Darkness's Waves of of darkness count as that damage. So every pulse for every enemy hit will restore health. And it's nothing crazy, but it's a nice little extra that builds up over time, and is a really nice thematic tie-in with this build, just to give it those few extra dimensions, self-healing and bleed. But more than anything, you just want to choose your favorite colossal weapon and whack this on, and jobs are goodin'. I've got a dagger, of course, with Golden Vow, just to give that little buff, because I don't have the spare levels to get Faith 25 for actual Golden Vow. In fact, these are the stats. You want int as pumped to the soft cap, and everything else as necessary for your specific unique take on this. A Glintstone Staff, of course, to cast your Terra Magica and anything else you might want, and technically speaking, the optimum min-max is to use Rogier's set, as it is a magic Ash of War, so Rogier's gives it an extra 8% damage. I've not got it on in the clips here because, you know, for once I've chosen fashion, and goddamn I will die on that hill. But yes, if you want to go all in, Rogier's for an extra 8%, Shard of Alexander from his questline for an extra 15% damage, the Magic Scorpion for an extra 12% damage, though I would recommend swapping that in PvP, that's from Saluva's questline, Ritual Sword, because, well, extra 10% damage is nice, and the wave pulses are at range, but again, this is me pushing it as much as possible, practicality-wise, and in PvP, I'd probably also swap that. And then you've got a true free talisman slots, and I've gone for Dragon Crest to counter the damage down of the Scorpion. The Wondrous, you obviously want the plus 20% magic damage tier, and then the other one, again, is a utility tier for you to use. As from my testing, the bonus heavy attack from the Ash isn't affected by the heavy attack affecting, well, talismans, Wondrous, and all of that stuff. So yeah, a fairly simple standard build, you know? You've got your enhancers that go with everything, Golden Vow, either from the Incantation or the Ash of War, all of the magic damage and Ash of War ups, the Rogier's set, a nice bonus for magic Ash of Wars, and then Terra Magica for when the opportunity arises to really give it that extra bit of pizzazz, that extra bit of spice. And oh, yes, it really, I love it so much. It is such a fun ability, because what other ability in the game, as I say, has 5 separate damage points that all come out in different methods, different timings, different ranges? It is just a bundle of death, and oh, I love delivering it unto mine foes. I hope then you have enjoyed this. Now this Ash of War is finally in its complete and most usable state. It's very, very satisfying. Like if you enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more Elden Ring builds, tips, tries, guides, funny bits, all of the good stuff you are wanting. And consider supporting the future of this channel on Patreon down below. Until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.